Why does every guy cheat on you? Trust me, I know. How come girls always call you their friend? I can tell you. We'll talk about your strengths and we'll talk about emotions. Secrets of Birthdays, now live for purchase. Check out yours at secretsofbirthdays.com.
Namaste. Welcome to soulmart.me Guided Hangouts Practical Wizardry. Please welcome our host. He's a psychic, a famous astrologer, and one of the most magical wizards in the world, the wonderful Wizard of Christopher Witecki.
Hola. Hola to all my patriots out there. How are you guys doing? It's so good to be back. I'm feeling very good. I'm finally feeling much better, I should say. This show is always taped in concert with the vibration we're talking about. So we're in the Sun in Libra right now, and we are capturing the Sun in Libra. But I also want to point out that this show is incremental. Each show builds on each other. So although some of the events and things we're talking about are kind of dated, the wisdom is timeless. So always go back and watch from the beginning if you're just finding us, because you're going to find that this all builds on it, on each one, and steps you into your practical wizardry. And that's what it's all about. Life is magical, and I'm learning it's even more magical every day. And I'm going to share with you as I learn. We're in Libra right now, and Libra to me, well, to everyone, Libra is the giving and receiving of our consciousness. It is the relationships. And last week, we talked about how we're going to divide up the Libra consciousness. Our last episode had to do with our self-relationships, because the bottom sector of our consciousness of interrelating is actually our relationship to ourself, which I have coined the me ridge, right? The way we unite with our own light to ourself, the way we look into the mirror. Whenever, by the way, folks, I'm looking this way, I'm talking to myself. I'm looking this way, I'm talking to the studio audience, okay? Little setup here at the Practical Wizardry. So, and we talked about responding to ourselves, and how we respond to ourselves is how people end up treating us. So I actually want to take it straight to our studio audience and ask them if they've been meditating on it. I'm wondering, you at home, if you've been meditating on it, on how you are, who you are to yourself. And I had already claimed Adolf Hitler, so none of you can use that. But does anyone have an answer for me this week as to how you coin yourself with yourself? Anyone? I'm going to go with 33 first.
I think of myself as a princess. I call myself princess.
Oh, interesting. Are you high maintenance?
No.
Oh, that's good. Are you? Well, we'll have to talk about that. Maybe you should be. What about Dawn? What is your relationship to yourself?
The professor, always reading books, reading knowledge.
So are you asking the professor for wisdom? Or are you like, hey, professor, I need to know what I need to do?
I don't know. That's a good question. I do not know. I just am always just like, want to learn more, want to put it more together. Just my magical journey.
So is yourself to yourself always like, okay, here's what it's going to do. We have to learn this and learn that.
Kind of, yeah. I want to do this and this, because then I'll put some pieces together, because then I want to do this. Always coming up with a new concept, new plan.
Let me ask you this. Is there ever a recess in your school?
Oh, my gosh. You have got to pull me out. You got to pull me out of that library. The home office. You got to pull me out. Yeah, right. No, I'm working on that. No.
There you go. How about you, Darius? What are you to you?
I'm an impartial observer in my life.
An impartial observer?
Yes, yeah.
So are you just like some old man in the theater talking to some old man in the theater? Are you just like, oh yes, we're really this is really funny, blah, blah, blah. Is that what you are to you? You just constantly commentary?
Yes, Statler and Waldorf, if you remember the Muppet Show.
Oh, I'd like to pop in your head. It might be, is it funny? Is it fun to be inside your heads? I think it is. Yeah? Okay. So we're having a little bit of delay. He's all the way over on the other side of the world. How about Iwana? Iwana, what's your relationship to yourself?
I feel with myself like I'm questioned in the Holy Inquisition.
Oh my God. So who are you kneeling in front of?
I don't know. I'm not kneeling. I'm just answering questions, but they are very strict with me. So.
Oh, so Hitler, yeah. So it's Hitler's wife, huh? Like, that's funny. It's some female version of it. I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. We haven't had many female dictators, so I don't have a joke to put here, folks. What does that say about life? But, it does. Thank you guys for participating, and I'm not going to put everyone on the spot yet because there's time to put you on the spot a little bit later. This brings me to what I want to bring up with the next building principle on what we just talked about is the way you relate to yourself is the basis to how you relate to everything in the world. And this week, we're going to talk about human relations, the giving and receiving between humans. I want to talk about what really is going on between humans, and we want to talk about metaphysically what's going on, and we want to talk about what's going on in our marriage when we're talking to other humans, because it's always a polygamy fest, remember? Right? If you have a marriage, and everything else from that on is a big party. So we're going to talk about all this, but first I want to just do my little lecture with human relations. So give me just a second here. Desktop 1. Here we go. Womp womp. And I am happy to say that I now have the magic cursor. You guys see this? Do, 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 do. Okay. So human relations, in my lecture, it's like, where do we relate the most? The honest to God freaking truth is that, unfortunately, most of the world is hijacked under currency or money, even worse, the United States currency, as our means of exchanging with each other. It's usually the only reason we get out of bed is for this dead president here. But moving on, human exchange begins with our parents, and it's very important that first relationship with our parents, of course, is really where we create the marriage with ourselves. Because we either, it depends on how we love our parent. If our parent yells at us, and we might love our parent by yelling at ourselves too. And that's a way of loving our parent. So this is parent-child is huge. But there's other places that we relate. I'm going to carry off with my dog story soon about how I found my dog after I got the house. But these are no accidents, these animal relationships. And then, of course, there's romance, right? Our Ken and Barbies in our life. I never saw Ken with a hairy chest before, by the way. That's totally new. And she looks like an actress we know. It may be, actually. I'd be out of my dates. Now, of course, relations is getting really interesting today because we're openly allowing gay relations, which means we got a lot of Venus on Venus action going on. By the way, I love the rainbow bouquet. Oh, my God. Good touch there. But, humans are also relating in a poor way, right? It's like it's becoming more and more a fight club. And it's becoming very racial. Look at this woman behind here. She's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to see a fire here. So funny. I don't know what this was. But, it comes down to when we don't relate well, then what do? We let our egos relate. And we let our ego relate for us. We're going to talk about that today and what that really means. And, in childhood, this started young when, we witness and observe our parents relating and fighting. And so, this begins to sculpture the way we relate to ourselves and our marriage and others. Oh, I love this picture. Look at the way. This is, if I could capture this like Mr. Obama, I have every password in the United States, right? Maybe you do. Maybe. Obama's like, maybe you don't. Obama's got a BlackBerry, but they're out of business now. I don't know. Mr. Obama. All right, so, and this is how we retaliate with how we relate. Oh, yeah? You want to cause some shit? Here you go. That's our ego. There's the United States ego right there. And at the end of the day, by the way, these are ships going to Syria, whether we bomb or not. This is a nun talking about rape, which is a horrible way of relating. And my God, I think I want to join a monastery. Just saying. This is crazy here. This is a map, and this is how we're being constantly programmed to relate. Man found shot, suspect arrested. Just, oh, look at this. It didn't take but just a map quest to get that suspect. I'm so glad that's how we handled human race. Look at this, killing spree at the spa. I love this, and it's like in TMJ4, it's like, isn't that a lockjaw issue? Like a temperamental disorder thing?
That's correct. Very good.
Whew, that wasn't easy to memorize. Thank you. And then, of course, this is a different way. This is the way we're forcing women to relate. Oh, you can only show us your eyes. That's the rules. No more relations than that. And if you show us your ankles, we'll kill you, of course. And then, of course, this is how China relates to Tibet. We don't like religion, so let's relate this way. And then, of course, if you don't behave, we'll relate this way. So human beings, obviously, it's kind of sad. It starts out happy with parents, but it gets really sad really quick because at the end of the day, we haven't been relating with ourselves very well at all. So we're going to go to a commercial next. I'm going to throw it to 33. That's my slideshow intro to relations. But when I come back, I want to talk about the metaphysics of relations and what's really going on and why it ends in a nuclear cloud or not. 33?
Thank you, Christopher. We'll be right back with more practical wizardry right after this message from our angel sponsors.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Please put on your prayer chute and prepare for jump.
It's Mercury retrograde. That means it's time for our Soulmart.me Mercury retrograde sale. Like a 1-hour reading with Christopher Witecki, normally $159, retrogrades back to $95.10. Or try a 15-minute psychic look reading with Zen Shoemaker. She retrogrades down to $45 for a 15-minute reading. Or try the Act 3 Orbits Report. And the Jupiter Gets Emotional retrogrades the same to 1111. At Soulmart.me, mind, body, and soul improvement.
And now back to you, Christopher.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. So good to be back. I'm not hearing the applause. Is there no audience today? My ego needs it. Thank you. Thank you. My ego needs that. I'm sorry. So we're talking about human relations, actually. We're talking about the nature of giving and receiving. And the nature of giving and receiving is the essence of human connection. In astrology, we know this as Libra energy, and we're in the sun in Libra. So as we talked about last week, our first human relation is our relation to ourself, and I call that the mirage. Now, I told everyone to go out there and look for a mirage ring. Did you guys look for a mirage ring, by the way? Anyone got a mirage ring to show off? How many carats, Dawn? How many carats?
A lot.
Show it, honey. Show it, honey. How much do you love yourself? What is that? That is a Cracker Jack. What is it?
Actually, it's a turquoise ring with lots of
Oh.
turquoise.
Nice, I like it. I see Iwana's too. You have one on, Iwana?
Yes, it's my mother's. It's a communistic jewelry.
I think I know who's talking mean to you inside. Anyone else? It's like I've got Hitler. You've got a communist. I love it. Anyone else have a mirage ring they want to show off? No? Okay, no problem. I don't want to distract too much, but I did want to go there. And folks at home, get your mirage ring. It's important there because it is a symbol of your dedication to yourself. And we're going to be working next week on your mirage vows. And I'm talking about that today, what your mirage vows are. This is a 30-day process to get mirrored with yourself. So enjoy it. And I'll give you some more of those details. So I have another quick little fun slideshow with my magical wand to talk about human relations on a bit of a metaphysical level and share everyone with everyone that. Let's see here, desktop wand. Thank you. So this little guy here, I don't know if he was up and now he's down. This, of course, is a map of how energy zips through our body, and we're not going to get into all of this, but the point is that the human body is wired for energetic exchange, primarily through the chakras, but we can get into this. This is the 7 lotus centers of the Kundalini. And look at him. He looks stoned right now. I just had to put this in. Hip-hop tantric yoga, folks. Inner thigh rescue. 2nd chakra. Woo! And this is free advertising. Folks, I don't know where she is, but I think if you want it, go for it. This, to me, this is obviously an ancient symbol. And I don't even know precisely what it is, but clearly it tells us in very universal symbols what it's talking about, right? Hooga booga, hooga booga, hooga booga book, hooga booga, booga booga book. All right, so giving and receiving comes from the planet Venus, which is super beautiful and yellow. And what's really interesting about this is Venus is yellow, and the chakra it reports to is blue. And you're going to find that the planet's colors are often the opposite color of the chakra that they report to. Interesting. So yellow light comes down to help our blue chakra. In fact, although they say the throat chakra is ruled by Taurus, that is true, and that is from a body-centric perspective. However, when it comes to manifesting and creating reality, Libra is operating through the front of the throat, and Scorpio is operating through the back of the throat. Scorpio is saying stop. So we talked about this last week, about how the human 12 states of awareness are designed. This is a picture from LiveVisionZ.com, by the way, so I say thank you to them. LiveVisionZ, go there. They have lots of cool stuff there. But this talks about the states of awareness, and this is a classical chart. So this is our ego, appearance, how others see you, outer personality. The ego is what I call the dumbass that works for the king or queen, right? It's the dumbass that opens the door, the dumbass that spills its drink on its tie, okay? That's your ego. And then directly across is marriage, partnership, in Libra. So in any part of astrology, you're always basically balancing the two polarities of the energy. In this case, with relationships, relationships are always polarized against our egos. And so any marriage, or partnership is against your ego. That means that even in your marriage, your ego is a different personality, sometimes interrupting. In fact, I was wondering, you know, I think in Iwana's case, it could be her ego talking to her. I mean, I think, you know, in my case with Hitler, definitely ego is talking to me as Hitler. But at the end of the day, we're going to talk about having our heart talk to us about our marriage, not our ego. Our ego is something else. So what's interesting about Libra is in astrology, in astronumerology, 6 is the number of Venus. 6 is Venus. And isn't that interesting? Because, you know, on the die, it's not until the 6th die that everything lines up all pretty. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So nice and balanced, right? Or you can look at it from the fulcrum, too. You know, here's the fulcrum, and here's the two sides that are balanced. It's very interesting how numbers play into magic and into everything. And the number 6 is actually about harmony energetically, when 3 and 3 come together. But what about this? This, my friends, is The Exorcist at fanpop.com. No, I'm kidding. But this actually has to do, honestly, if you want to know my honest opinion, this is like the Illuminati keeping us away from the actual good numbers. That's what I think this is. There's nothing wrong with 666 at all. In fact, it's energetically very good. So we have our chakra systems, the ones that are on Earth, and there's ones above. And, you know, when we connect to people, we are using our chakras to connect, really. Our chakras are at least giving each other pulses, and they're reading each other. And really, we're reading each other on all sorts of field levels. But to simplify it, which is good, helps you to understand what's going on. This is a hot picture I found that I thought was really cool, but it kind of emulated the idea that we have fields around us, and I'm just learning myself that these fields are directly correlated to the states of awareness. And at the end of the day, of course, my fields and your fields sometimes want to get together, right? And that's what it's about. My fields and your fields getting together. That's what tantric sex is. That's what the connection of human spirit is. And tantric sex, you know, which is well worth inviting. We're hearing 33 umming over there. 33's all like, I'm on some 66 for some 99. Do it, baby. Come up with some 118s. But, you know, technically, tantric sex does deal with how energy flows through the body. And, you know, and we literally breathe in and out through root chakra and heart chakra in tantric sex. In fact, from what I understand, I need lots more practice. But from what I understand, tantric sex deals primarily with breathing in through the heart and root chakra, and you go from there. That's the fundaments. This is tantric yoga, which I didn't even know existed. And that looks kind of hot, I guess. A bunch of people in white robes holding hands. I don't know. Tantric yoga. I could do it. And here's so Christmas is tantric, right? Christmas is tantric. The red and green colors are the root chakra making peace with the green. The root making peace with the heart chakra. Happy holidays. Let's go have some tantric sex, you know, before Santa gets here. Right? Ho, ho. Let's go be a ho, ho, ho. So good.
Well, thank you, Christopher. Jennifer, we have to do a commercial, so we'll be right back with more of Practical Wizardry right after these messages from our angel sponsors.
What's the difference between lust and love? We get them confused. What are your turn-ons? What are your turn-offs? Do you know what really gets you hot under the collar, baby? Are you always dating the person that frankly sucks in bed? Are you and your mate not mating anymore? Do you even know what turns you on? I have that answer. With a date of birth, I can tell you anything. We call it Secrets of Birthdays, the Love and Lust Report. Find out your birthday secrets today, available online at secretsofbirthdays.com.
Welcome back to Practical Wizardry, sponsored by Soulmart.me. The amazing Act 3 videos are available for immediate download at Soulmart.me. And back to our Practical Wizard.
Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please, please. The red in me, you cannot forget it. The green's okay with it, right? But the red in me wants the applause. I do have a Leo rising, honey. So thank you, 33. We're back, and we're talking about the exchange of human beings and how it comes down to chakras and how it comes down to colors and how it comes down to emotion. But now we're getting into the actual practical of the wizardry so we can understand a bit more. But before we do, I actually want to turn to a couple people in the audience and exchange with you. Actually, the first person I want to exchange with is GA9. Hi, GA9. Can you hear me, or do you have your mic muted?
We don't hear
Oh.
you. Your mic must be
We
muted.
don't hear her. Her mic is muted. I'm gonna stay fixed on her anyways. I'll come back to you. How's that? How about we go to Saja?
All right.
How are you? Thank you for joining us. I just want to tell you that when you first came on, I thought you had amazing light and you had beautiful hair.
Thank you. It's because my walls are yellow.
Oh, is that what it is? But your teeth are white. I don't buy it. All right. Did GA fix it? She has not fixed it. Fascinating. Well, let's go to Darius. Mr. Darius, I just wanted you to know you're one of the most polite people I've ever met, and I want to thank you for being here all the time and supporting us. You're a wonderful man.
It's lovely to be here. Chris, thanks for setting this all up. It's quite amazing, really.
Well, thanks. We're doing our best, but you make it better, brother. Oh, so did Jennifer wake up? No. I bet you I know why. We'll move on to the next chapter. It's okay, GA,
Can
sweetie.
you hear me now?
We so can. Well,
Can you
I'm
hear me?
sorry. Yes, we can hear you.
Great.
I'm sorry.
Okay, you
Well,
went out too, so you have to tell me your question.
Oh, perfect. Because actually, the whole point was I was waiting for this show to tell you how much I appreciate you, and I think you're doing an amazing job on Astro Studies.
Oh, thank you.
You are totally welcome, and it was well worth waiting for that microphone to get on.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me do it. I love doing it.
My pleasure. Well, I love having you here, and actually, she's going to be taking over for 33. 33 is going on some wild thing with Archangel Michael. You guys are going out drinking or something? I don't know. Oh, sorry, Michael. Michael just poked me in the back with a sword, like, shut the fuck up. None of your business what we do at 33. Got it, Mike. All right. I understand. Well, actually, I have a point to all that, and the point is what we just saw was a tiny little experiment, and I'm sorry to do an experiment on you, but actually it wasn't really an experiment. Everything I said was genuine to each of you. I genuinely felt that from my heart, and I hope you felt that as well. But what I wanted to point out and kind of explore is how well we take compliments. Right? How easy is it for you to accept? The truth of the matter is, most people on Earth complain about that they are always the givers, that they don't receive what they want, that they don't get what they want. But when I drill down in their lives in a personal reading or in the report card or something else, it comes down to this: they don't allow themselves to receive. Most people are in conflict or war because they don't allow themselves to receive. Now, President Obama, I don't think allows himself to receive much. He's very distant, right? And let's talk about the ethics of giving and receiving. In fact, there is a code of ethics of giving and receiving. It's called honor and dishonor. And honor and dishonor deals with, it goes down to maritime law. And I don't know if you know this, but even the United States law system is based on maritime law, which has to do with the very principles of honor and dishonor that go back to ancient Babylonia and further. And they carry down on ships at sea, and it is the national code or international code of how we treat one another. And there's all these different interesting parts of honor and dishonor. In fact, when you go to a United States court, we call them your honor. One of the things in honor and dishonor principle is if someone asks you a question, you must answer. It is dishonorable to not answer a question. That's part of the honor dishonorable code. And the honor dishonor code really does kind of, if you follow it, if you know it, which I'm not going to be able to go into and teach in this moment, you will find yourself giving and receiving almost perfectly with humanity all the time because of the honor dishonor code. Well, part of honor and dishonor is that there are givers and there are takers, and people take turns. And that is kind of how we interrelate. So, you know, the first thing we often have issues with is the accepting of what we're given. That is the biggest problem in human relationships. We can't accept what they say. We can't accept what they feel. We can't accept anything. In fact, it's because of the fact that we don't want to accept their criticism. We don't want to accept their judgment. We don't want to accept their, battle. We don't want to accept any hurt. And see, we program our I give and receive consciousness to not receive, period. Right? Now, we saw in these three examples with our beautiful guest here, and we saw how they could or could not receive. GA, she created a sound problem so she didn't have to even participate. She manifested a spell. Her spell short-circuited our studio. Never mind, we'll get back to you. It's no problem. But Darius, he was right there on it, but at the very end, he was a little choked up. It was kind of hard swallow, right? And actually, I got to say, Saja was like, well, thanks! Right? And hers is like, oh, another compliment, different day. You know what I mean? And people say,
out. I try to, yeah.
Well, I didn't tell. It's okay. There's no wrong reaction. At the end of the day, the point is, how open are we to receiving? How open are we to receiving? And I got to go even further, because remember, giving and receiving is actually the second part of the conscious, the chapter 2. Chapter 1 is our mirage, and I go back to the mirage. How well are you at receiving in your mirage to you? Okay, how are you receiving in the mirage? So we talked about how we give to ourselves, right? So the first step was, I said I'm a Hitler to myself, and I'm like, and I yell at myself, and and I'm mean to myself, and I put myself through boot camp, and that was the old me that put me in the hospital, honestly. But after being Hitler to myself, how do I receive that from Hitler? Right? Chrysler. Oh, that's kind of weird. Christ's name's in it. That kind of cleans it up right away. But doesn't sound too threatening. Chrysler will get you. When on Christmas, the evil Chrysler. That's cute. Now that just made my little mirage like me in my little diaper. Now I'm like little Stewie yelling at myself. That's a good mirage for myself. But the truth is, I talked to you guys last week that I gave you the foreshell already. I say I already receive it by feeling bad. So my receive response is take the hurt, then respond by feeling bad. It's almost like there's a director back there. Okay, cue insult, all right, and start eating brownies. Yeah, cue the brownies, right, and the drinking or whatever. And people fall into this. It all is based on your mirage, okay? Because you're going to find that the way you give and receive in your mirage will be the way people are wanting to give and receive with you subconsciously in the world. You're also going to find during this transit, if you do the work with us, for those who show up live for our studio audience, they are 100% aligned with the astrological lesson. For those who watch a week later, you haven't wasted time, you can still get on it. But at the end of the day, you want to participate with what I'm saying when I say it. Just saying, I'm an astrologer. What can I tell you? I kind of know these things. So when it comes to giving and taking, people say, are you a giver, are you a taker, right? And probably everyone on the front row, everyone here is a giver, I can tell. You know what I mean? You wouldn't even be on the show for free if you weren't to give, to give to me, which is so sweet. And thank you. I love you. And I accept I accept your giving. Thank you. And that's part of honor. Part of honor dishonor is you must accept and receive the gift, right? So it's like, even if it's something ugly, it's like, oh, thank you. Thanks. We did all the pictures for them. It's on their Facebook in 30 seconds. People are already posting and responding to you on your hip. Oh, shit! Well, you want to accept. And so this kind of leads us to, a very simple process, which is if you don't walk out the door whole with your own mirage, if you aren't accepting and receiving whole, then when you walk out the door, you are already a disfigured puzzle piece looking to be completed by some exchange. And that is the second biggest issue people have, that they are not on a nice little cozy give and exchange of themselves. And so when they go and they interact with someone else, if someone else triggers like a fight that they were just having with Chrysler a couple hours ago, which is the way it works, it's like if me and Chrysler were fighting in the mirror about that mustache and I won and finally shaved it off, and then we go to a party and then the first person says is, I liked you better with the mustache. God damn it! You think that's an accident? That, we drew in it, the first thing they said was your mustache, and that's what I was fighting with Chrysler about in the mirror for an hour? It's no accident. So if we don't walk out not fighting with Chrysler, and you guys who've been married, I don't know if anyone's been married, but it's like if you and your girlfriend or your wife has been fighting and you go out and you're in the car and you're trying to get all pretty and back up to normal before you get there to fight, or then the whole night is a quiet fight between you. You ever done one of those? Oh, those are fun. But even then, it's like, then you've got me fighting with Chrysler, her fighting with Hurler, right? Like, now we're fighting with their couples. It's like an orgy of anger. And we'll have more on that after this. 33?
Thank you, Christopher. We'll be right back with more of Christopher Witecki right after these messages from our angel sponsors. Welcome back to Practical Wizardry with Christopher Witecki. Back to you, Christopher.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I accept and receive that red Christmas ball stroke. I'm thinking, yeah, I can't go back to the picture of the red Christmas ball, but just there was one. Roll back the tape. So we're talking about giving and receiving, honoring and dishonoring, and the truth of the matter is, folks, that when you don't accept a compliment from someone else, you are dishonoring them. It is dishonorable for you to not accept, to not answer the question, or to not accept the compliment. And if you think about it, it's actually arrogant as hell. When we don't accept a compliment from someone that's like, okay, I'll just be an example, like some of my friends out there who go out clubbing for the girls, when some buck-toothed bitch comes up, or whatever their term is, right? Like, and she's like, you're so cute. And the dude will be like, yeah. And it's just like, bro, she didn't ask you to sleep with her. She just said you were good looking or whatever. You know what I mean? And like, we don't even allow ourselves to accept there. It's arrogant of us to not accept a gift from another person. And frankly, we'll talk about this when we do Practical Wizardry Taurus, but if you don't accept and receive from a stranger's compliment, you're not going to get rich and you're not going to have abundance, because the universe is feeding you from those exchanges if you didn't notice. And anyone in your awareness by law of attraction is no accident. Even the people on the bus with you is no accident. Haven't you seen Speed or Speed 2 or Speed 3? Nobody on the bus is an accident. At the end of the day, it seems to all be some sort of twist of fate. And that is law of attraction, and that is the chakras wanting to make love with other people and get tantric, baby. So we must walk out the door feeling whole first. Only if we're feeling whole and we're giving and receiving with ourselves can we really be there to exchange with other people. And if we don't accept the gift, and receive it, then we are depleted because we've been giving all day and not receiving anywhere, okay? And secondly, in each time that we did not accept the exchange, we stopped the manifestation. Stop, 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 stop. Stop, 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 stop. Every time you don't accept, you're saying, stop, stop, no. That's your ego, by the way. The other side of the equation, relationship ego, it's your ego going, no, no, Her Majesty will not do it. No, sorry, Her Majesty's not interested. Sorry, the Queen ain't into it. All right? And that's what people are getting at the drawbridge. Sorry, the Queen ain't into it. Sorry, the King ain't into it. So what we have to do is we have to accept and receive everything we get, even if it's an insult, right? Like, go ahead, say it. You're a da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yes, honey! Right? I love you too! Right? And then, in proper, maritime law of honor and dishonor, we turn around and say, now let me say something to you, sweetheart. And I hope you receive it. Right? But you see, it is this basic fundamental breakdown of giving and receiving, a basic fundamental breakdown in the human species at the kindergarten level that leads to war at the Syrian level. Seriously. All right? So I'm going to give you guys a quick little 6 steps. Why 6? 6 is a magic number, especially when you have 3 of them. People are like, I knew he was Satan. I knew it. It's like, you got your evidence on TTJ television. So step 1, how to accept and receive. This is my patented six-step version to accepting, receiving. And what I say to our studio audience and what I say to everyone out there watching, and if we can mute everyone, please, GA33, is to accept and receive. You follow these 6 steps process this week, and you build on your mirage. So in your mirage, you want to follow these 6 steps with yourself, and then, of course, when you go out in public, you want to follow these 6 steps with them, right? Step number 1, you must leave the house being whole in mind, body, and spirit. So you cannot succeed with your relationships with anyone else in the world if you do not leave the house whole in mind, body, and spirit, all right? So if you can't leave the house whole in mind, body, and spirit, you can't hold yourself accountable. I mean, you have to, but you have to say to yourself, okay, I'm just going to do the best I can. I'm not even whole today. All right? And that's half the problem in the United States, where we're working 60 hours a week for no money, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We're not even full. So you have to somehow be full. Step number 2, when you leave the house full, one must be open. Must be open to anything and everything. Unlimited possibilities. So let's see what the magic law of attraction brings. And that's the truth. It is a magic law of attraction. It is fascinating to see what the world brings. I'm so curious what I will attract with this cool hair that I just got. Says my Leo rising, my red, right? So be open. This means you have to tame the dumbass. The dumbass is your ego. And you have to tame the inner brat. Remember the inner brat from Leo? Yes. The inner brat has to keep his mouth shut and be open, which means inside you have to squash what the inner brat says for later discussion with yourself, not let the inner brat speak on the behalf of the king or queen. No. The inner brat, it's okay to have, but we want to, out of honor and dishonor, not have the inner brat ruin our relationships. So be open to anything. Number 3, be willing and able. Willing and able. So it's like, hello, dearie, can you help me cross the street? It's like some people are like, no, I'm busy. So nowadays, it's like when little ladies come to cross the street, people are not even fucking open to the idea, first of all. It's like, she's probably a Unabomber. Like, whatever. Then, secondly, it's like, are you willing and able? So are you willing to cross? Now, this is a lot of times, folks, when God sends you a little lady across the street, trust me, that law of attraction is not an accident in your magical mystery tour of the day. And so when you say no to something that seems like, why would you? And you're turning down your own magic. And let's not forget, our heart is the judge. That's the king, that's the queen. So being open and willing means asking your heart, should I help this lady across the street? And my heart's like, what the fuck do you think? Right? It's like, yeah, we should. My heart's like, don't even fuck it. Okay. That's when the dumbass asks the heart, like, oh, I already know the answer. Why even go there? So be willing and able to go along with the Magical Mystery Tour. Step number 4 to peace on earth. When you are in front of someone, little old lady, stripper, I don't know why I went there just now. This is what's coming in my head. Or the police officer, which is how my night ended up last night. Okay. Whoever you end up in front of, you have to be there for yourself. So a lot of times what happens is, as soon as as soon as we're getting in trouble with someone, frickin' Chrysler is gone. He's nowhere to be seen. Chrysler, where the fuck did Chrysler go? I'm sitting here getting yelled at by this old lady or the cop. Where's Chrysler now? Where's my Reridge now? Mofo, I'm gonna kick his ass. Crucify Chrysler at home, right? And that's what it comes down to. Well, the point is that part of you of talking to yourself and being there for yourself and taking a bubble bath and all that Reridge stuff, that's got to show up in public, in person, to help you deal with you dealing with them. Because they're a pain in the ass. That cop and the old lady and the stripper. I swear, officer, I thought she was a stripper when I was crossing her the street. Putting it all together now. It's all coming back, this dream. So the point is step 4, you have to be there for yourself. And you have to means that you need a delayed reaction. So when they're like, you're an SOB, the delayed reaction is, Chrysler, what do you think about that? Or what, you son of a bitch? Yeah, mom was tough. Okay. You need that moment. And a lot of times people don't take that moment, which is part of the issue too. But if you are there for yourself, you have to take the moment before you react, because you have to ask, actually not just this. I mean, the truth is, we'll do this in the final show. But the truth is, it's not one person. It's your entire United States of Awareness Congress. The entire 12 states of awareness really are your Reridge. I didn't want to tell you you're polygamous. I told you. But we have 12 personalities in us. Our ego, our sex drive, our emotions. They're all talking to us in this Reridge while we're getting yelled at by the cop. So if we don't have a good, solid United States of inner awareness, then our Congress will fight, and our nation will fight, and the earth will be at war. That's what happens. And what does it come down to? It comes down to the fact that President Obama is giving a smart-ass face look because he is not happy with himself in that slide. Sorry, President Obama, but it's true, right? Step 5. After you are there for yourself, you must be there for others. Being there for others is not helping them across the street. That's being willing and able. Being there for others means you bring your entire Congress to the table. I am here with all my talent. When you catch me on, people, this is a little story, and I know we're almost out of time, but people catch me on the street all the time. It's like I got a freaking, a Kmart blue light special going off on my freaking top chakras here, because I don't care what people are doing, they will stop their car and ask me, oh my God, I just got robbed. I'm like, why are you asking me? You know what I mean? Like, it's because I got that little blue light special thing. But the point is to be there for others means, okay, the universe has just called on my superpowers to help this, sprout in need. And, okay, I'm going to just put down the phone, bring my entire 12 states of awareness, and be of service to this other person. That's honor and dishonor. I'm not going to be having sex with my wife in my visual mind while I'm also talking about the relationship to Bob, and I'm thinking about the negotiation of the deal. And trust me, I'm capable of all of that while I'm talking to someone. However, that's not very honorable. What's honorable is to be there for people, which means I'm here, my team, our whole Congress, and that fucking Chrysler. Just kidding. We're all here. All right? Step 6, and the final step of the show. Once you are there, once you are whole, open, willing, and able, be there for yourself and be there for others, then you are willing to exchange equally. And we're going to actually talk about equal exchange more next week. But I want to make sure it was in this point of presence here, which is that, once you do, you have to exchange equally. And exchanging equally sometimes means, we're going to talk about this, that you say, you know what, I owe you, I don't have the time to receive this now, but I really want to exchange equally. Honey, so put down the gun. Right, or whatever. But at the end of the day, exchanging equally comes down to that what you gave, you received. And here's what's super important, and this is really how I'm going to wrap up this week's show. when you exchange equally, the real soul work assignment for you folks this week is not if you gave enough, but if you received enough. And not if you received enough because they weren't giving. Did you not receive enough because you were unwilling to receive? Was that person only capable of giving you a smile or a thank you, and did you take it? Did you take what they gave, and did you receive it? That's your question for your Mirage. Oh, and start thinking about vows and pick out a dress. That's it. GA33, back to you.
That was so wonderful, Christopher. Thank you. We'd like to thank Christopher Witecki for an amazing show today. Everybody give him a round of applause.
Thank you. Applause. Thank you. Thank you.
On behalf of Soulmart.me and SoulGarden.tv, we would like to thank you for watching and live, love, be.
Hello, my friends. I hope you enjoyed Practical Wizardry. And if you like Practical Wizardry, you're going to love Zen Shoemaker. Following this video is a video of Dear Zen, our newest show on SoulGarden.tv, starring Zen Shoemaker. She's a Taurus, she's fabulous, and she's wise. Give her a look-see right now.